Right, hello everybody. Tonight's call is just on the testimonies for the health band that is available only through Refer Life. And lots of us have tried it, and lots of us have felt such a difference. And the first person that I want just to give her testimony on wearing the band is Heather Reid from Sheffield in the UK. Are you there, Heather?
Yes, I'm here, Cynthia. I've had my band for a few months now, and about 11 years ago I was diagnosed with something called fibromyalgia, and that's deep muscle pain, and it can just hit me at any time, anywhere. It works its way around my body, and some days I've been in absolute agony with it, unable to move and everything else. It stopped me doing so many things that I used to do before. I couldn't even carry shopping bags or chop vegetables, things like that. And I started, as I say, wearing it a few months ago. And in the run-up to Christmas, it was brilliant because I started being able to do a lot more things. Christmas, I was chopping all the vegetables for Christmas dinner. I'd been able to carry the shopping and all sorts of things like that. And one of the other things that I've not done for such a long time was actually mash the potatoes, because I couldn't use enough force on it because it had caused pains in my upper arm, sometimes in my hands and everything. And I've been doing the mashed potatoes ever since. It's just absolutely fantastic. And since I actually started wearing it, I've had no pains at all from the fibromyalgia. So I've been clear from pains now for a good 5 months. Okay?
Terrific, Heather. Thank you. You know, we all have different problems, and the band works quick on some people and slower on others. It depends on what the problem is, and most probably it depends on how long you've had it, what the band needs to do. And the next person that would like to give his testimony is Trevor. Are you there, Trevor?
Yes, I am, Cynthia. Well, hello, everybody. I've been a builder all my life for 45 years. And I'm just a few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks off of being 61 years old. I unfortunately had an accident when somebody dropped a sink unit on my head, which didn't fracture my neck, but it knocked the ball joint, the knuckle joint, out of position, and then it healed itself laying on one side, wearing away on one side only, giving me permanent pain in my neck. Now, for years, I've been going to see osteopaths, and I've spent literally thousands of pounds on osteopath fees. And then Mr. Reg Jip introduced me to this health band. Well, he said, give it a look. I gave it a look, and I thought, well, blimey, this seems just the thing for me. I'll try it out. Well, last Saturday, I waited in, and the postman came, and I signed for it and got it. And I'll tell you now, everybody, and this is all sincerity, that I put this band on, but within 30 seconds, the gnawing pain in my neck had disappeared. I was just so elated, I jumped up for joy. And for the rest of the day, I had more energy, I felt much more alive, and I shall never not wear it anymore. It's the most fantastic thing that's ever happened to me in my life.
Thank you, Trevor. You feel just the same as I do about this band. Nobody's going to take it off you. Anyway, the next person that wants to give... Yeah, that's right. The next person I want to give their testimony is Reg. Are you there, Reg?
Yes, thank you, Cynthia. Yeah, my name is Reg Jib. I live in Northern Ireland, originated from England. I've been a landscape gardener since 1989, since my dear old dad set me up, and I've had several injuries in the past years. 5 years ago, I unfortunately fractured my T6 backbone, which is sort of halfway up my back, and I was in hospital quite some time with that. And I've also, over the years, I've fractured my patella in my left knee due to another injury whilst gardening, and also my right wrist. It makes me wonder why to continue gardening. But anyway, continued. But last March, I was involved in quite a horrific road traffic accident on March the 31st, and some maniac run in the back of my car and wrote the car off and nearly wrote me off as well. But I was left with damaged nerve ends around my disc area of my lower back. I had MRI scans at the time straight away. My doctor set me up with physiotherapy, painkillers. I had traction, even tried Chinese acupuncture. Some worked for a short period of time, but not really. And then I heard, basically, I was offered this business opportunity, and I couldn't wait to receive my band. And once I did, I got it on my band immediately. And within about half an hour, I was contacting my upline sponsor, Helen Mallion from Leicestershire, and I couldn't believe the results. Within half an hour, I felt like a strange sensation in my lower back area, around my disc area, where I had the damaged nerve ends from the road traffic accident. And I just couldn't believe it. And by that day was ended, I was pretty much, I reckon, about 90% pain-free. And the best night's sleep that night anybody could, I could wonder, wish for. And the next day, my wife, she just wondered, well, what are you on? Because I was like a new man, and within 48 hours, I can promise you, guys, I was 100% pain-free. That was about 3 months ago, and since then, well, I haven't looked back. And I find nowadays I can I've got more patience. I can sort of pay more attention to different things, and it's just unbelievable. And thank you very much for sharing the opportunity with me, everybody, and thanks for your support and help. It's just great. Thank you.
Thank you, Reg. You see, everybody has different problems, and one thing I would just like to put in the middle of these testimonies is it's not just people that have had accidents or illness. This band, as I said before we started the recording, helps people with strength and just balance. It's an absolutely fantastic product. The next person that wants to give a testimony is our partners, Paul Smith. Hey there, Paul.
I certainly am, Cynthia, and listening to these testimonies tonight, I'd just love to share mine because I'm a 52-year-old man and worked physically all my life until I was in my mid-30s. I used to be a farmer, and like most people on the call tonight, I've had many breaks, aches and scrapes and cuts and bruises. But the biggest thing it did for me within probably the first night of wearing the band was I noticed I got a good night's sleep. And the other big benefit was I wasn't getting up in the middle of the night to go and spend a penny. That was the first thing I noticed, Cynthia, and to me that was just absolutely amazing because for the last 3 or 4 years I've been having to get up in the middle of the night and go and spend a penny, and that's just how it is. But the first night, that alleviated that problem, and no more bathroom duties in the middle of the night. But the most amazing thing is, Cynthia, that I've had a bit of a problem with dry skin on the end of my elbows, and both my left and right hand elbow has had sort of calluses built up, which have got very hard and sort of like, I don't know, sort of like knuckled type of skin on the end of the elbows, and that's gone. They've just completely gone back. My elbow's now just like a baby's bottom, and that's really, really remarkable. But the most interesting thing is I had a little cyst going on my inside finger, which is close to my hand and on my index finger. I noticed that has just dropped off completely. So after 3 or 4 months of wearing the band, all I can say is that I think this band has an awful lot more to do with overall well-being than just a quick fix. And now wearing it for 3 or 4 months now, the differences that I'm noticing now are just subtle things that are starting to improve my quality of life overall. So I think we've got a situation here where as people experience these bands, the more and more little subtle things are going to start happening for people, and they're going to realise, hey, that's gone, and that's not hurting anymore. And I also had a benefit with toothache as well. So with that, Cynthia, it's helped me in many, many ways, and I just think it's an amazing product.
Thank you, Paul. Now, I'll just tell you a little bit about what happened to me. You see, I have to start from the beginning here, and I'll be as quick as possible. But just over 10 years ago, I had a brain hemorrhage. I had from an aneurysm in my head, which they said had most probably been there from birth. And you don't get any symptoms. I was as fit as anything. My energy levels were very, very high. I was doing all sorts of things. And I went for a walk with a dog and came back, and I don't know how I got back but I had got an awful lot of pain in my head. And anyway, got over that after a brain operation and after being in a coma for quite a few days. And then 6 months or so after, I started with a lot of pains in my head. Went back to the hospital and they just said, it's the nerve lines. There's nothing we can do about that. You're going to have to live with it. They had gradually got worse and worse, and this is like a toothache in your head. It's a nerve pain. I got this band, put it on one evening, and the pains were always bad when I got up in the morning. And the following morning, the pains were only, what shall I say, at 80% of the level that they were normally at. And after 48 hours, I hardly got any, and after a week, I've never had any more of these pains in my head, which therefore gives me a lot more energy, because if you're in pain, if you're fighting pain off, it tires you out, it wears you out. So this, to me, is a product that you'll never get my band off my wrist, because it is fantastic in the energy that it's given me and the pain relief. And back to me. And with that, I'd like to hand you over to somebody else that wants to just put their thoughts onto here. And so I'm going to hand you over to Peter. Are you there, Peter?
Yes, I am, Cynthia. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, like you, I would never part with mine. I received mine about 2 months ago now, and I'll go back to the beginning. When I was 16, this was some 50 years ago now, so I'm 69, I ran and jumped on the school bus and fell off and injured my back, and the matron from the school sent me to the hospital on a sort of, well, I suppose it was a plank of wood, really. And I was in agony. I just didn't know what to do with myself, and the hospital actually x-rayed and said, well, I've done a bit of damage, but you must go home and with the painkillers and treat it with respect. I think that was the words they said. Anyway, I was on my back for at least a week, and ever since then, I've always had trouble with pains. It'd gone sometimes, and it'd be back again, and if I lifted anything awkwardly, I'd be in agony for a few weeks at a time. Anyway, the upshot of this is, when I received this band, after 2 or 3 days, it seemed, I got up one morning and it was almost gone. I couldn't believe it. And the real thing about it is, I was one of these people, rather like Paul, who had to get up in the middle of the night and spend a penny. I don't have to do that anymore either, and I get a lovely night's sleep. And of course, with that, I've got plenty of energy, which is absolutely marvellous. And I thank everybody for introducing me to this, because it is absolutely fantastic. And again, I would never part with mine. And there we go. And all I can do is recommend it to everybody, whatever aches and pains they have. And of course, they come in all varieties. And I had a little bit of toothache the other week, and I thought, well, that's funny. And all of a sudden it went away again. So I put it down to the band.
Thank you, Peter. Now I've got another lady here that wants to share a testimony. You see, it's not just about pain either. It's a protection. Wear it for protection. It can help anybody. But with that, I want to ask Annie to come in and give you her testimony on what the band's done for her. Are you there, Annie? Annie, are you there? No.
Hello.
Are you there, Anne? Hello. I thought I'd lost you there.
Hello.
You have a little testimony you want to do.
Well, I wouldn't part with my band at all. It is a fantastic product, and since wearing mine the other day, I am virtually no pain in my back, none in my knees, and I can get up and out of chairs easily.
Great. That's a big thing. It's balance and strength.
That's right, and it's given me all of that. And like you, I wouldn't part with mine.
Thank you, Annie. Right, so there's lots and lots of different testimonies there, mainly on pain, but it does help to protect your body from lots of things that are bombarding us all the time. But what I want to do just for a second is, and he doesn't know this at the moment, I just want to hand you over to the other Paul, my husband, for his testimony.
Hi, everybody. I don't know whether everybody knows this, but I'm a diabetic. And I have to inject 3 times a day. I still have to do it 3 times a day. And because I'm a diabetic, unfortunately, I've got a thing called neuropathy. And neuropathy with the diabetes, it starts to damage the nerve endings. And people that are diabetics, they do have a common problem here with your lower legs and pain in the feet. And when I say pain in the feet, this pain is under your toenails, right at the end, especially your big toenails. And the pain, it's so excruciating. It's like somebody sticking a knife under your toenail. If you can imagine, that's what it's like. And since I've been wearing this band, I've had all sorts of little bits and bobs. That's a gradual thing, right, that you don't really notice at the time. But after wearing it for maybe 2 months, okay, now this didn't work immediately. This was about 2 months, and we was in our local town, which is called Mansfield, and Cynthia and I were doing some shopping, and there's a big marketplace, and we're walking across the market, and Cynthia said to me, "You realise you are not limping anymore?" And I didn't even realise that I wasn't limping, because after walking about 25 yards, I started to limp. And the further I went, the worse it got. And ever since then, it's probably somewhere around about the beginning of November to the middle of November, okay? And since then, I've had no neuropathy pain in my legs, none whatsoever. It just like turning a tap on. But it did take, say, a month, 6 weeks, maybe 7 or 8 weeks to do that. And for anybody that's a diabetic, they'll know what I'm talking about, because if you have neuropathy pain, it's not very, very nice. It is the nerve endings that does that. And just one very quick one, and it's not even about me. It's about my nephew's wife. Her name's Sonia. Now, Sonia, she's been to our house today, and Sonia has got, I think it's rheumatoid arthritis. And she's also got fibromyalgia. She's only in her early 30s. And what had happened to her, she'd got no flexibility, especially in her left side, i.e. left hand, arm, left leg and foot. And the flexibility she'd got none. She couldn't pick up an empty shopping bag, never mind a full shopping bag. And she had virtually zero grip in her left hand, especially in her left hand. That means she can't peel vegetables, she couldn't put her children's shoes on, she couldn't do a lot of things. And she's been today, I've said this before, if you saw the smile on the face, that would tell 1,000 stories. And I said to her today, "How are you going then, Sonia?" And she says, "Paul," she said, "I've got increased flexibility, I've virtually got full grip back now in my left hand." Now, that's just one thing that this band's done. She said it's absolutely fantastic. She said, there it is. And most days she wears that band on her ankle because she's a very petite lady and the band is a little bit big on her wrist. So she wears it round her ankle and she don't find no problems with that. So with that, I'm going to hand you back to Synth.
Right. Thank you, everybody, for all your testimonies.